Welcome guys to the second part of the Kassadin video. Today what I would like you to learn will be runes, combos, itemization, all concepts about the laning phase including when to recall, wave management, roam timers, and later on the mid game, so side lane, when to join your team, TP usage. I hope you will like the video, enjoy. So let's start with the Conqueror setup, okay? Conqueror you wanna take when enemy are insanely bulky, because if you can't burst them, Conqueror gives you the most consistent value. But take Conqueror if they are really tanky, because Conqueror doesn't bring you that much value in early game, and it is like more associated with the ultimate scaling builds. I will relate to Conqueror in a moment. Now let's do First Strike. Currently First Strike, in my personal opinion, is one of the best. Why? Because First Strike meaning is to speed up the process of your scaling. You don't get much out of the early game gold, but in the mid game you really get a lot of gold out of it. And now you have as well magical footwear for 300 gold and a futures market that gives you gives you possibility to then land the gold. So basically there is a lot of value in the First Strike itself for a scaling Kassadin who would like to get his items relatively soon, which would speed up the process of his scaling and having impact faster. And now think about it. Sometimes your team is gonna get stomped before you even have full stacks on Road of Ages, before you even get 16. And you'll be just like, oh, fucking bad team, you know? The point of the First Strike is basically that it helps you to scale faster. Scaling faster on solo queue means having impact sooner. You can play First Strike almost even versus Zera Vel'Koz if you really know the matchups, but you will know after this video. Domination, why secondary? Because Able Collection is even able to give you 30 AP out of it. 30 AP in a builds that you have where enemy are squishy and you can one-shot them, 30 AP connected with your all AP ratios on every spell is a ton of the damage and a ton of value. Ultimate Hunter you get when enemy have a lot of ranges, so you dash fast, so you restock faster, you're more mobile, you can get a better gap close. Ingenious Hunter you get versus more melees, because versus more melees, there is no Ingenious Hunter, I know, but you know what is Ingenious Hunter. If not, then you can check in the domination tree. Ingenious Hunter we take when there are more melees, because usually when there are more melees or just there is a lot of going on inside of the fight, you need Zonya. So Ingenious Hunter makes Zonya cooldown come faster. Ingenious Hunter makes Steel stack faster. Ingenious Hunter makes Shield, Banshee Shield comes sooner. Yeah, so it's like this. Generally, one thing that I want to add, you can take Resolve secondary with almost any kind of rune. So if there is a hard matchup, and let's say you play versus good Orianna or good Syndra, you go second wind second with this First Strike, let's say, or Conqueror, up to you, right? Because in the end it's your personal choice, but you get second wind in the Resolve, so you can increase the sustain. So there are two things in the Resolve that are really important. Let me just go a bit down, and these things are here. So second wind versus heavy poke, bone plating versus assassins, the champions that commit at you, and the champions that commit at you need to contest you. So bone plating is like an anti-burst when they wanna contest you. Yeah. So basically, Resolve there is usually intention to go for bone plating on the second wind. If you know you can scale for free, then conditioning starting from the level 12 makes you more bulky, and that will help you increase tankiness, and you go inside of the fight. So this is really good value later on, yeah? So basically Conqueror versus Giga Bulky team, when you can't burst them. First Strike, currently most universal, ton of gold if you know how to execute it, really good tree compared to the precision. Because if you compare it to the precision, my honest opinion, you don't need presence of mind. You can play tier, but you don't need presence of mind. Presence of mind is an excuse in most of the cases. I'm sorry to say that. So instead of presence of mind, You get 300 gold. Then you get tenacity. But not every game you will need tenacity, and this rune got nerfed a million times. Here you can get Futures Market. You can get Power Spike item faster by landing it. Cap de Gras or Last Stand, let's say here. You can get Cosmic Insight, faster flash. And along with this Precision Tree, you still get a lot of gold. You understand? Because, okay, Cap de Gras and Last Stand give you a lot of damage, right? But Futures Market and Magical Footwear and the First Strike, they as well give you more damage because they speed up the process of your items. And one thing is Electro. I need to include it. So Electro is the most burst early game. Then First Strike. Electrocute, more burst. First Strike, less burst. So First Strike, Electrocute can't go on the cooldown. First Strike can go on the cooldown, they just poke you early. So it's on the cooldown. You can't use it. Yes, so if let's say you play versus Yasuo or you play versus someone that you wanna contest early, Fizz. Against Fizz, I promise you I would go Electrocute. Why? Because Fizz will contest the trades with versus me. So I go Bone Plating, so he can't commit into me. He needs to trade into Bone Plating. And I get Electrocute to actually get consistent value out of trading with the guy. So Electrocute versus matchups where there is a lot of trades in early game and you are forced to back to trade. So Fizz matchup is pretty good example. Katarina is okay example too, to go for this. Fleet footwork. Genuinely, even if I had a beginner person, I would coach the beginner right now, I wouldn't tell him to play fleet. No joke. Even if he would be insanely shit. Okay, I'm sorry. So even if he would be just new player who is underperforming, I would rather just tell him play fleet footwork and play First Strike and get second wind. That's what I would do. So these are the choices. There is one more underground choice. That would be Aerie. Aerie still can work. I actually go Aerie versus Katarina because then I max Q and I poke the guy really early on and I go Ignite with this setup. Aerie is a bit underground. There are many previous videos on my channel about Aerie setup. You can just watch one video and see the potential out of it. But we talk about most consistent choices right now. So my consistent order of the choices is First Strike, Conqueror, Electrocute. But that's just my opinion. You can disagree or agree. It's up to you. I'm just trying to share my perspective. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna talk about the itemization. Currently, there are 3 build paths. So we have standard scaling build. Standard scaling is just Rod of Ages, Archangel, Malignance 3rd. Then 5th item, is it 5th? Yes. You can go rather Rabadon if they don't have magic resist. You can go Zonia if enemy have a lot of burst and you need to be more tanky. Or you can go Shadow Flame. I don't know why I didn't update it because I was updating it, but it's better to go Shadow Flame right now. Storm Surge got turbo nerfed, so it's better that you go Shadow Flame if you just wanna go more damage. But normally these 3 items are pretty consistent. Roa, Archangel, Malignance. The rest of the items is just situationally depending because you might need Void Staff, you might need Rabadon, you might wanna just have more burst. The problem with this build is Rod of Ages and Archangel take you to slots. So in the end of and they don't give that much AP. So when you wanna get the 2 final items situationally, there is a chance you won't find a slot for Rabadons in some game. Or you won't find slot for a Void Staff, which is in most of the builds as a final one, relatively consistent. So that's the problem with this build. Then you have mid-game impact game. So standard scaling, you spike the slowest, but you as well ensure the most Exodia scaling. But now, what if your team gets completely destroyed and you don't manage to scale at all? Then the full effort is just wasted. Mid-game impact is basically you skip the tier. You go Roa into Malignance, but what you can do is you can go Lost Chapter and then you buy Rod of Ages because you shouldn't sweat with buying the Rod of Ages so fast because then it's gonna give you level up really slow, really fast. And you would like to get level up, let's say from 14 to 15. I know Roa still needs time to stack, so let's say you get it around... I mean, you can, if you go Lost Chapter into Rod of Ages, you will make out of it really consistent value, and at the same time you'll have a bit of more damage in early on. So Lost Chapter into Roa, then you go Malevolence. Why we skip the tier? Because we want to give you a bit more impact faster into the game. So that's like mid-tempo game build. Then you have one more slot. If you skip this Archangel to fit rather Abaddon, Zonia or Void stuff, you're just becoming more flexible on the end slots. You understand? Because Archangel takes you the slot. Even though Archangel gives you good shield and stuff, it takes one valuable slot as well. The problem with this build is if you will go to the insane late game and they have a lot of MR, you will find yourself lacking mana. So sometimes what I do is when I do well with this build, but I know that I will need to 1v9 in the game, where the game enemy are just the five-man Fnatic squad, then I buy the 400 gold tier after Malevolence. I, let's say, finish Rabadon or something else, and then later on I go Archangel just to ensure I can Rift Talk faster, because I need to sweat so much to actually carry this game. Fastest power spike build is basically the one that I did on the video that you will watch. It is basically focused on giving you the fastest power spike from the early on levels, let's say 8, 9, something like this. And that helps you snowball the game faster and secure the place that normally you would be useless with, let's say, Conqueror and Rod of Ages. So this build is meant to do more in early, especially if your teammates are just gonna love to fight. They're like pro players in Tekken or Mortal Kombat. Then this build is good. But again, if you need to insanely 1v9 in the late game, you will find yourself lacking mana. If they will stack a lot of MR and they will have a ton of the CC, they will just one-tap you. So my point is, in the end, it's up to your personal choice. Second of all, it's game dependent. Let's be open-minded, okay? The other one last build would be, you can go Frozen Heart when they are full AD. And now we need to think how we're gonna fit it to actually make it work. We can do something like Conqueror. No, I mean, it's hard. Because, okay, let's say I do Conqueror. And I do Warden Mail, then I go Rod of Ages. Okay, then I have Warden Mail, Rod of Ages, I can go second Frozen Heart. But they don't have slot for my tier. Tier will be so slow. Not the coolest. So, okay, what if we rush full Frozen Heart? Then Rod of Ages is so slow at this point. You shouldn't buy Rod of Ages after spending 2.4k gold on the Frozen Heart. So what can you do? You could do Frozen Heart into Archangel, but then you'll be lacking the health. So I'm just thinking how to fit it, you know, versus full AD team comps. You can go for sure Steel Caps. For sure you can go Steel Caps, there is no problem. And third item, Frozen Heart, for sure can be consistent in the many games. If you go Roa, Archangel, Frozen Heart, that's completely fine. If you wanna rush Frozen Heart, then I'm like thinking maybe just do Frozen Heart Malevolence, bro. Instead of the Steer. It's just there is no health. You have armor, but there is no health. Armor is good before they get armor penetration. In late game, it will a bit fall off without the health. So that's just something we can still cook. I know there can be a build with Riftmaker. I just didn't test it yet, so I'm not putting it. I just put stuff that I tested. So to me, full AD builds right now. If I played versus full AD, I still would rather go First Strike. And I would just opt to get Zonia third or second item if I would play tempo build. And I could consider the Steel Caps. But I'm just really trying to get away from the mindset that is, yeah, go turbo scaling with Conqueror. No, then I rather instead of Frozen Heart, go Zonias, yeah? One more thing is, the problem with Rod of Ages build is, if they get a lot of bot users, or let's say they have Mastery, doesn't matter if you have Rod of Ages, he will melt you. If there is a Viego on the bot, he really melts you too. So the more bot users they have in an enemy team and you go just Rod of Ages, they still a bit outdamage you if it's before the level 16, you know? So the point of the faster power spike build is to kill you before they kill them before they kill you, I would say. Shoes options, pretty simple. Ionian shoes, pretty good with Rod of Ages because you will be lacking CDR in early game. The more tanky they are, the more magic resist they have, the better Ionians are, because then you can use your spells multiple rotations. The sooner you can use your spells, the more damage it deals. Flat magic penetration, you go when you're the only AP teammate, or when enemy are giga squishy and they're not gonna stack MR. That's where you can go Sorcerer shoes. Steel Caps versus full AD. Mercury, let's say they have Sejuani, Lissandra mid lane. Then you just go Mercury. Let's say they have a Veigar plus some heavy AP teammates again in your team, in enemy team. then you can go for it. Mercuries are really situational, steel caps the same. Void stuff when they have a lot of magic resist as one of final items. Zonia as well situationally. One more thing, you can go Banshees when they have a ton of AP too. As one of the flexible, as one of a item that can actually give you value. But as I said, sometimes the Roa and the Archangel takes you 2 slots, so you just, my friend, won't be able to fit everything in the build that you would want. If it comes to early items, Doran Shield in most of the early game matchups, because you just focus on farming till level 6, then you can contest. Dark Seal you can go versus free matchups, most of the free matchups. So, okay, what do I mean free matchups? Something that can threaten you early. So, you know, I go Dark Seal personally. I know it might be crazy, but you can do Dark Seal versus Yasuo, Talon, Yone. Because if you don't make a mistake, then they can't really bully you. They will poke you and stuff, but you can maintain this with a Dark Seal because they can't constantly perma go in at you. Versus Sylas, you can go D-Shield too. Dark Seal. Versus most of the ranged, I go D-Shield. And I just ensure my CS is good. But you need to be really good at utilizing what I did in the early game versus the Xerath. First base, I recommend you focus on... If you can get a base which is 500 gold and you can get me Dark Seal plus Refillable Potion, that's one of the best bases. So let's say you start D-Shield, you get Dark Seal into Refillable Potion together. You have the Snowball potential and you get Refillable, right? The problem is if you want to go tier, then you can't do one of these. Like let's say you can do Dark Seal if you go tier so fast. So that's why I'm more right now into the mid-game impact build or faster power spike build. If you can get a first base Blasting Wind, you go for it along with the Refillable Potion, more AP burst, tier can wait as a second purchase, second base, not the first base, okay? First base can be as well Lost Chapter when we play for full faster power spike or mid-game impact build when we wanna delay Rod of Ages or we don't wanna go Rod of Ages at all. And Refillable is most broken choice if it comes to sustain, so please don't underestimate the Rod of the Refillable. Tier of Goddess, you go like around second, third base. Usually third base, I'm just not really a fan of just going into the full insane scaling mode. And trust me, on lower, I mean, you could, but it's really up to you. I just don't wanna anymore. So I rather, let's say, do Blasting tier if I really plan on going tier. Tier intention is to ensure that you will be able to 1v9 in the end game. If you really will, they will have a lot of MR and they really will be really hard to beat. Because if you skip the tier, then you might lag in the crazy end game of the game. But what if you go power spike build and you finish them before they get even to end game? So you know what I mean? You just need to play and you will start to slowly feel which build would fit the best. Anyway, guys, I think it's pretty soon the time to go into the gameplay, right? One more thing about the skill order. You can max E really fast because E gives you better wave clear. It gives you the chance to respond to the enemy roam timers more, and it's multiple area of effect spell that just deals damage to the people in the area, right? But you should max the Q early till like 3 points. Let's say when you play versus people that poke you a lot, Seraph, Vel'Koz, stuff like it, you will be a bit lacking the wave clear, but the point is you will be able to block more damage coming out of their spells, which will help you to maintain the lane. I'm as well explaining it in the video. So usually you do full max C into full max W, but sometimes you will do 3 points Q into E full max, and then you continue with the W. Yeah, so that's like the thing you can do. Q maxing is just meant to give you bigger shield so you can survive longer on the lane and block completely some of their spells. For a reason, Kassadin is called anti-mage. Let's go to the video. Thank you. Welcome, guys, in the second part of the Explained Mojo Kassadin guide. Right now we are playing on the Master Tier Elo Plus. People are around the Grandmaster previous season. And since we talked already about the runes and itemization before this video, what we can do is we can jump instantly into the gameplay. Alright, matchup versus Xerath. First item we go is a Doran Shield. Why do we go Doran Shield? Because let's be honest, in early game you can't really kill the guy. So what would you wanna do? You would want to focus efficiently on scaling. So you will use your Q to reduce the damage from incoming spells from the Seraph when you approach the wave to get a last hit, when you contest the wave. The mindset here is purely focused on getting the most CS out of the lane. But of course, if you play versus JC, Tristana, Lucian, you can't do it. You won't ever get all of the CS. But what about Seraph and Vel'Koz? Previous video, by the way, Vel'Koz. You know what you can do? You can start even W. Here I remember I made a mistake. I wanted to start W. Why? He will press Q or W at you level 1. What is the problem with the Seraph? His push. You ending up level 1 under the turret as Kassadin is pretty bad. Why? Because it's harder to last hit. So if you go level 1 W and contest the wave from the beginning on, you are preventing him to crash, and he's gonna spend mana for your health. So you spend your health for his mana, but you make sure that you can get the most CS. Here I forgot, but still, as you see, I contest the wave. I get a lot of poke. What the fuck, X-Bait Mojo? Here, that's a mistake. You always wanna Q into his spell. Reaction time was poor. But the point is, yes, don't be afraid to lose health when they have just one simple spell, because you can block most of their spells. W would be so much better because I would be able to still keep the wave around the center. And this shield is just meant to help you exactly sustain a lot. Sustain so you can maintain the lane longer and get most of the CS. When you're out of the sustain, when you're really low, that's where you use your potion. For now, we don't use the potion because Doran Shield heals you the more, the lower health you are. So that's the point. And every time I have a Q, you see, I only use it when I have to get a last hit or when he's pressing the spell. And that should be your mindset. Do you see? Every time we do it. Don't waste damage on poking him in a pointless way. Focus on getting this CS efficiently, my friend. Efficiently. So potion only use when you're really low and you're afraid that you will get dove or one-shotted. And keep on trying to contest the wave if you can, and if it doesn't mean that you will risk your life. If it wouldn't be Seraph, then it's even worse for the guy, because Seraph can refund mana by hitting you or the wave. If it would be Vel'Koz, if he will highly prioritize hitting you, not the wave, he will go out of mana. If he goes out of mana, he's useless for the lane wave priority, so for the rotation, so for the river prio. Second thing, he can't maintain the lane anymore. So remember, use your health efficiently. Runes were on the screen, I'm pretty sure. If you guys wonder why no second wind, because you can manage without. If you can manage without, then domination will be the best second. Why? Because you get a lot of value out of the AP, plus you can still have ultimate hunter. So I will explain this in the pregame. I'm pretty sure you guys will have explanation. For now, same mindset all the time. Keep efficiency, pure CS. As you can see, I'm greeding this potion. He's poking me like crazy. But that's fine, my friend. That's completely natural. Keep it up. Stay focused with your Q reaction. This guy's almost out of mana. This is working. Make sure that you know where is enemy jungler and that you ward it beforehand, so you're not gonna get ganked. Any other mage should be out of mana at this point. And think about it, I'm surviving without the second wind. So with second wind it's even better, but I want it to be completely greedy. If you wonder when we start to fight after level 6. For now, you wanna stay as long as possible, and if you will need to TP, you will look to TP between the waves. So you will manage to sneak the TP without losing much of a wave. And why do you max Q X-Bait Mojo? In this matchup you can even max full point Q or you can max 3 points Q. The point here is you can block most of his damage by maxing the Q because it increases you the magic shield. So that's the full point. You get Q, so the shield gets bigger. If the shield gets bigger, you can survive longer. If you can survive longer, you can be efficient for longer. Here I reset. Do you see why? The wave just arrived to the center, so in between you wanna look for the reset. Why I didn't reset is I'm greedy. So I wanted to stay one more, which is pretty dangerous because I remember, yeah. If Nidali wasn't around, I can stay because he can't kill me, he's not 6 yet. But if he was about to get level 6, that would be bad. The benefit out of this is that I'm almost dead. I could actually reset, but now I get slightly better base because I can get Lost Chapter. About itemization in this game, I will explain you in a second. But basically, you should opt to look for a base that is Dark Seal plus refillable, or let's say Lost Chapter plus refillable. Or if you go Rod of Ages, you wanna opt to get Blasting Wind plus refillable. Generally, try to fit quite early the Dark Seal, which is gonna help you snowball. You buy Dark Seal because it's an item that helps you snowball because it gives you AP for every assist and for every kill. So now, why did you go Lost Chapter, Mojo? Because this game I'm playing full tempo build. What does it mean full tempo? The one that will help me spike already at like 2 items. Even 1 item I do so much more. You understand? If you go Rod of Ages, it's relatively slow item. If you go after or Archangel, you have 2 slots with pretty low AP. So if I go the item that is like now Marigens, I have a slot and I skip the tier completely. I have a slot to go Rabadons, Zonias, anything I need that can give me real AP, pure AP value. So my champion spikes faster for the price of lack of health and for the price of the mana. You understand? So it's like Roa and Archangel, they take a lot of from the slots. Anyway, Zeraf was rotating for the Herald, but I knew we are just too weak to contest and I was just alone. So what I did, you wanna be greedy in early if you can't really do much on the map because let's say you're too weak or your team is losing. So we focus on our resources. What we do is basically we tryna get the plate, we tryna get the efficient CS. For now there was no chance to trade a match with the guy, but it will start soon so we can cover up the trading in a moment. And here you have I missed my E, I know. But did you just see the burst? Imagine if you just went tier right now. And you just went like Ruby Crystal along with the tier. You just don't kill this Nidali, my friend, yes? So the build that we are playing is high risk, high reward, in short words. Right now we're gonna stay on the lane for a bit longer. We see that the guy is a bit doing something weird because he's letting me close himself, so I encourage to turn. Make sure to work on your map awareness, so you're gonna be always ready for possible opportunities. Another benefit of the build that I'm playing is that I can do more in early game. Now there is wave on the center, and because the wave is on the center, what we could do is we could still try to get a potential kill because wave on the center doesn't really deny you that fast. Why I don't go mid is because Zeraf is already going back to the lane. So if I would stay like this, there is a chance he would prevent me from crashing, or the moment I would be finishing the crash of the wave, he would be already back on the lane. And if he would be already back on the lane, I'm losing my tempo. I just can't assist my team. Second thing is add a lot of gold. So I did a tempo reset when the wave was still on the center. We come back with Malign's 8 minute. We're gonna receive this wave and then of course pay attention on the minimap what's going on while you play. Pretty soon I'm sure we're gonna start contesting the guy here. I lost a bit much of a health. I should have used my Q better. The trading pattern is you wanna do the poke not inside of him, but you wanna in your minions. Wait, let's watch for now. So yeah. So here I was screaming on the live Twitch TV, would Rod of Ages do it, bro? Would your tier or 100 stacks do it? No, like you wouldn't kill this guy because you wouldn't have burst. The difference in CDR here was amazing. An AP value that I got at 8 minutes. So that's one thing about the tempo build. But the point here was before, the trading pattern is you only rift walk in when you can ensure you can win the trade heavily or you can kill the guy. Otherwise, let's say there is your wave. You rift walk into your wave and you wanna be in the range of your EQ. So you do EQ range, you walk back. So you can add to gap close into them, but make sure there is something in front of you to block the, let's say, stun of the Zeraf. I did something like this, but more aggressively, which was in front of his wave. But you get what I mean? This is the pattern. Exactly this. But again, in his wave. I don't know why he's not stunning me. Grandmaster, by the way, last season. Here I contest heavily because I saw Nidali top lane, but she still wasn't at myself. But generally, make sure you know where is enemy jungler, or you know where are the enemy wards before you do this kind of contest, because it can end up pretty badly. And now I pretended that I fake roam, and you get Oracle's. Okay, watch. Dodge. You should always expect this, the most threatening spell that they got. Why did go to the down below to the river? Because I wanted to fake roam and get Oracle's. You can get Oracle's from like level 6 when you have prior on the lane, or when you guys both exchange the wave between each other really fast. So that's where you can get Oracle's to look for a potential play on the map. That's as well one thing. Here we're gonna crash, and Zeraf is already coming back to the lane. I wonder if I'm gonna grid or if I just reset. Most likely I will reset. No, I will overstay. Okay, so I'm overstaying because I see I have 800 gold and I'm just greedy. Normally I could reset without a problem. But yeah, so this is basically something like a tempo concept. Normally you can reset and you would be able to walk without the teleport to the lane. However, I just personally decided to be greedy, to soak a bit more out of the lane and to implement the pressure to get the plating at this current moment, which most likely will end up in me burning my TP, but we'll see. Again, you need to get better at identifying when the play is bad. Look, they started fighting, so I use this time to crash really fast wave, and I will try to get back. And if he didn't stop me, that would be fine. Then I will try to get back by foot to the lane. But now I have to burn my TP for one plate. You understand the tempo concept? So if I didn't stay for this plate, I wouldn't need to TP right now. But would I have a large rod? That's as well the question. I'm not the best in the math. But if I reset and I wouldn't get the large rod, I mean, generally TP 10-minute plus, you should keep for the, let's say, teleport on the bot lane, which I mean like around, you know, to the brush on the bot side. So it's better to keep it. I got stronger, I still get prior, TP wasn't, but that just was tempo concept. Now when you receive the wave, I would like you to focus on proactively look on the other sides of the map so you can try to find some kind of opportunity that could help you to snowball further. Sadly, we don't have Dark Seal yet. Yes, I know. So let's say now if they fight on the bot lane, maybe I could have ulted, but I don't have my TP, right? As well, guys, there is gonna be at the 3rd February Kassadin classes. Kassadin classes for only $10, 4 hours. Every week we're gonna meet once. If you know that my knowledge and everything that I do is valuable to you, just go for it. Because normally people pay me $35 on one-on-one coaching. So this is the best option we can do. We meet all together. Every week there are gonna be classes from beginning of the Kassadin, early game, everything, all concepts, to late game within these weeks. So link on the screen, and let's continue with the gameplay. Every time we receive, and you have especially Oracle's, you can look, you can watch, observe. Here look, Nidali comes, and look at the damage. You see the spike? First strike slowly is gonna be giving more and more gold. Futures market is ready to help you snowball as well. You have Cosmic Insight for the faster flash. Trundle is pretty annoying. We can see it, right? Like Trundle is getting the split. Now, soon we would want to swap. Because you in the mid game as a Kassadin, when your bot lane gets a turret or enemy bot lane gets a turret, you'd want to swap to the side lane, which will still ensure that you can get efficiently the resources and that you can... That was pretty waste of time, by the way. It was okay, but it was a bit of a waste of time. So you go to side lane to stay efficient with your resources. You wanna get the most out of XP and the gold, and at the same time you're really mobile. So look, if Sivir just respected, and if it was us, we would survive on the bot lane. So around the 15-minute or generally when your bot lane gets a turret or an enemy gets it, you wanna slowly transition to the side lane, which will help you look for a better flanks, and you will be able to implement efficient pressure on the map while ensuring you get a lot of XP. Right now we crash one more wave because they were rotating, and they're gonna do the dragon. We can't contest the dragon anyway because Sivir is too low. So the play that I did, it was contesting the mid wave for a bit. Now I reset it. Why I reset right now is because there was a cannon. if there was not a cannon wave, I'm worried I wouldn't make it in time to get back to the lane. Rabadon second isn't that much of a OP item, but the thing with the Rabadons is pretty hard to finish it. If we can fit it second item, then every other item you get, third, fourth item, gets so much stronger, because the Rabadon passive gives you 35 AP. You get what I mean? So here I just went full greedy. We finally got in Darksteel, which should be under 10 stacks already. And now, Aura Cleanse always before the play. I just ensured if they see me or not. I'm looking for a Caitlyn. I knew she would rotate to the mid lane, because if you're a Caitlyn and you have IQ... Oh, okay, I remember here. That was so bad. My cooldowns... If I just didn't get so much poke out of the Caitlyn, like literally 1 Q or 1 crit, if I just flashed a bit in front of her, I would kill her, then I killed the Nidali. That was really big misplay. After she flashed, I could go back. Why I did ult so late was because I was waiting for her to flash on me. Was it worth risk? No, because I tried to contest one for Caitlyn, and I died for it. You understand? So be open-minded when it is a healthy risk and when it's just completely bad risk. Because when you guys are winning and you force something like this, you're just cringe. Because they have more to gain and you have so much more to lose. You understand? Because you're winning. Now we go side lane. We have the TP ready for our team just in case. So when you play side lane, make sure you pay attention to what's going on around your team. Keep one eye on the minimap, and you should be able to do autopilot wave, receiving, pushing it on the side lane. Then you can potentially rotate back to your teammates. Let's say, look, now there is a fight. You can't be surprised. Observe. The moment Rumble decided to commit further with TP, and we covered this play. We got 90 gold from him, if I'm not wrong. Yes. Did you see? Now, for one go in, I got 90 gold. Here, yeah. I used my Q and I didn't have mana to finish her off, I remember. But it's fine. Here it's gonna be pretty funny. So early game, focus pure CS. From level 6 you can execute the quick trades, as I explained before. Mid game, you look to contest the side lane. And the more useful your team is, the more you can consider rotating back to them to help them. If your team is completely helpless, weak, be selfish, be greedy, do your thing on the side lane. You need to soak more advantage, and implementing the pressure on the side lane sooner or later will force the opponents to go into you. That's the mentality for the games when you just can't join them because your team have lack of the CC, or simply they are just too weak and they're gonna die because enemy are overfed, enemy have a ton of the CC, and you have 0 CC, you have 0 setup. This game is different. My team is actually useful. So I considered the TP and it worked out. In some other game, let's say if you're like now Conqueror or Kassadin, you would have less damage, or let's say had slower items. I'm just bazooka mode. Don't get me wrong, Conqueror build with Rod of Ages for ultimate scaling isn't bad. But at the beginning of the video, I will make sure that you guys understand the differences and the mindset. So it's like you choose your Pokemon in the Kanto region or something. You just choose one out of 3. It's like with Kassadin itemization. You gotta just choose one, bro. And sometimes, once you go to the region, you can change it. That's how it would be. Anyway, now look. There is pressure on the mid. I can go there and defend this mid lane. Maybe I can kill them. But now, what if they have a brain and they would just run away from me? If I just start walking right now. You get what I mean? You need to get good at like measuring when you wanna actually go. I got in the turret, then I rotate. But every silent decision and every decision you make is a valuable time. So you need to really, like look, example. Could have gotten bot wave, didn't get anything yet. You get what I mean? Every decision you make, you need to calculate with the scoreboard. How useful is your team? How real it is to go from bot to the Nashor and actually get a kill. Here, well, I actually did get a kill. A huge one. But I'm just still sharing with you the mentality. Right now we are pretty close to the Zonias. Why Zonias? I want one defensive item, if I remember well, in this game. However, I could go Shadow Flame and it wouldn't be bad. If I went Shadow Flame because they are completely squishy. This game is before the nerf of a Storm Surge. One day before the nerf of a Storm Surge. Normally we could even go Shadow Flame here and do our even harder one shot. But because I play full glass cannon, I was like, you know what? I will just go Zonia just to ensure nothing flippy happens. You get what I mean? It's like you can go Shadow Flame, but you already have so much AP that I started considering one defensive item to just ensure my consistency in the game. And now, generally, if you ask me this flash that will happen, it's not really so worth because the Trundle doesn't give that much gold. So you should keep in the mid-late game the flash for the play that can win you the game, that can win you the Nashor, that can win you the Dragon on the carries. Here, just solo killing Trundle, wasting all resources, just let him run away, you know? Why I did that? Because I can, bro. Because I can, like I did that. But it's important that you're aware. Let's say you execute certain decision, you do it. And if it didn't work good, then you have to, okay, let's say I did decision. Instantly after decision, I admitted in the Twitch TV on the stream, because it's from the stream game, that it was waste of flash. So if you can like self-taught yourself and analyze on your own, then it's fine. It's fine. Next time we're not gonna, let's say, do it, right? Here we reset because we are pretty close to the items. And what we're gonna do is, would be really cool to slowly set up for the Nashor. Because if you look at the map, right now, map is a progression. We should slowly try to get tier 1 turret, tier 2 turret. Okay, let's see the fight. In the fights, it's important. Usually you would be looking for a flank, and from the level 16 you don't want to show on the map. So you want to abuse the Fog of War, you go with Aura Cleanse so they don't see you, and you look for the positions where they just won't really find you. So team fighting from level 16, don't show yourself on the lanes. Hide somewhere even if you lose a bit XP. And your mission in the team fights is to find a pick from a good flank that will win your team the game. That's the mindset between the Hunter Kassadin. Level 16 plus. So, Kassadin in the team fights. Flanks, not showing. Abuse Fog of War plus Aura Cleanse. These three things. And of course, with the scoreboard, you need to know who is the enemy, win condition. If you guys don't understand some concepts, you can always get for $5 my Patreon, which there are plenty of the Kassadin coachings that you can learn from in terms of those concepts. Here I get a 1 kill, I go back, Fog of War abuse, a bit of a surprise. If you wonder what we should do, we should build up the pressure around the Nashor. And then why would we sweat if you can build up the pressure around the Nashor and make them come into us? If they come to contest the Nashor, then this mobile Kassadin will make sure that he kills them, right? So that would be the mindset. But as well, if your team will respect, I know I don't have TP for the Nashor, but if they fight for too long, you will open the side lane. So with side lane, there is a lot of mentalities that we can do. So I hope my microphone works, it should. So there is a lot of mentalities that we can do, and one would be you can sacrifice your team to be selfish and get a lot of resources out of the side lane. What else can you do is you can build up with your team the pressure. Okay, you can go side lane and just don't care about your team at all, no TP and stuff like this. You can go on the side lane with the TP, and with that TP, you will be ready to TP to your team if they need you. The other thing is you can go with your team and look for the pickup on the Nashor with them. And one thing that I wanted to say is map is a progression. So normally, if it's not a stomp game, you guys would build up the pressure around this Nashor. And so two goals of the map could be tier 2 turret top lane right now, or building up the pressure around the Nashor. So you guys always should find a goal of the map. This game we really stomped them. I stomped them as well. As you can see by the statistics. First strike gave me around 901k gold in this game phase. I'm on 4 items. As you see. And guys, that's it. So just wanted to show you a bit of the potential of the Kassadin build that we had right now. If you got any questions, just shoot a message in the comment, join the Discord for more informations, one-on-one coaching, all links in description, or you can just DM me on the Discord. Generally, guys, you can choose your way with the build. There is no problem. The video is more for the mentality for the certain game phase, explained in a way that everyone can get something out of it. It doesn't matter on what level they are. So, thank you. And see you in the next videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Ciao.
I want to take a second to recommend working with Expert Mojo, who's been a terrific coach.
I've worked with a lot of coaches over the years. Exploit is far and away one of the best.
Thanks for teaching me so much, Will.